That's right. Welcome in, welcome back, folks. I'm not sure. I am not sure whether this episode's going to discuss BC or the QB position at ND. I'm not sure which. I got a feeling I know which way it's going to lean, and I'm totally fine with that. So this episode, let's talk about whatever. You want to talk about BC? You want to talk about quarterback possibility? Whatever you want to do, we could do it. All right. We got a bunch of calls already in the bank, which is a little rare the minute the show starts. So I'm going to get through my introduction. We're going to do roll call and we're going to get to the phone. So the deal today is very, very simple, folks. Here's what I want to know. I want to know what you think about the Boston College game senior day, your confidences and concerns, what's on your mind. And I also want to know what you think about the quarterback development in 2023. It is exciting to think about. I want to make the note. The guy is not committed to Notre Dame yet. I just want that note. I just want to put it out there. I'm knocking on wood. All right. So, but where there's smoke, there's fire. There's a lot of it. Pat Narduzzi's losing his mind deep in the bowels of the Pitt Athletic Facility. There's nothing I love more than knowing Pat Narduzzi's mad about something. It is, I don't know why, but with that guy, there's nothing better than Pat Narduzzi blowing his stack over something. Oh, my God. All right, let's get through the introductions. Roll call, phone calls. All right, we got a lot of people that have a lot to say today. YouTube, you're there. Go ahead and hit subscribe if you haven't. Give the video a thumbs up. That helps me as well. Notifications on. You'll be alerted every time I got a new episode out. Twitter, search bar Always Irish at Always Irish Inc. Emails alwaysIrishND@gmail.com. Audio only. Anywhere you want me, you can get me. Call in line 312-900-8815. Let me know what you've heard and seen. Fighting Irish Wire. Check it out. If you've noticed some changes to my YouTube channel, you're going to notice more. I am revamping a lot of things. Learning YouTube as I go. I have some different things I want to do. I'm moving some things around. I'm playing around with the idea of a short channel where I could just put shorts, not worry about copyright or trademark stuff, and really get creative and do some things I want to do. So hang with me on that. We're playing with the system here. We're trying to make it work for us, not us work for them, folks. Roll call, phone calls. Paul Conley's always here. And I appreciate you very much, Paul. Says, good morning, John. Great QB coming in. It's about time. Paul's excited. Malik Zaire was at the Elite 11 or whatever that showcase is, saw this guy and said that he looks good. Looks really good. Paul, always good to see you. Drunk's here. Drunk, it's good to see you. It's always good to see a drunk first thing in the morning. Mark Holzum, trying to bring the group down. Minchie and Pine both have a 247 rating of 91. Forgive me when I just look at them and think they're built different. I don't know what else to tell you, Mark. I look at them and my answer to that is they're just built different and the skill set looks very, very different. Deborah Thomas, good morning. Always here. Good to see you. Good morning, everybody. Hopefully we get Kenny in development and play so he doesn't transfer. Shot of a lifetime for us. It's just wild. Notre Dame gets one decent quarterback interested, and it's like all of this just highlights. Here we go. Drunk, I don't know if you're being sarcastic or not. We don't even need CJ Carr anymore. Yeah, we do, man. They're not in the same class. You stack that talent, get as much elite level potential talent in that building, then you get into the development part. So the way I look at this is, the better the quarterbacks the better the quarterbacks are the minute they step on campus, theoretically, the shorter the learning curve to getting good results is. So when I already have questions about the developmental part, give me as much talent as possible. Stacking these guys back to back is awesome, and I love it. I've seen people ask, what does this do for the Carr commitment? You know, what? Nothing. Nothing. Are you out of your mind? Nothing. It makes me mad that people are even saying that. They're not even in the same class, and CJ's rated way higher. If he looks at this and is like, oh my God, too much competition, I don't want to go there, I don't want you anyways. No. Like, I'm not entertaining that at all. They're not even in the same class. And Carr's higher rated. This kid isn't scared of that competition. You load this quarterback room up with potential high-level talent. Let the chips fall where they may. And if guys need to transfer, they transfer. But you have an elite guy, and that's why they're transferring. That's the path here moving forward. That's the path here moving forward, folks. That's it. Minchie's our guy. Arnie Torres, good morning. John and Irish Nation, good to see you. I would still take CJ Carr. I do not think this fan base is used to what a healthy quarterback room looks like. You have multiple guys that can compete for the spot. Like, that's healthy. We are so used to quarterback dynamics that are not healthy and not good enough. I don't think we know how to react to this as a collective group. I really don't. No, this is not a discussion I'm having. This guy comes in 23, Carr comes in 24, and we have a good competition between competent, potentially high-level quarterbacks. That's the angle. Carr, I can't imagine Carr sitting there, oh my gosh, they got a 23 guy, I better go somewhere else. No, a dude like that doesn't think like that. If he does, I don't want him here. Phil Ag, good to see you, Phil. Bass and Domer, good to see you as well. We need to jump BC early. There's a little BC talk. Jump them early. I don't know. I always worry about it. You're crying to your mom, and then 1 minute later, you got to go crack some skulls. Senior day at Notre Dame's always tricky. Always tricky. Cold weather. The emotions. If Notre Dame's not playing for anything major, that adds to a muted crowd. It's always a tricky day at Notre Dame, I'm telling you. Irish trending, Minchie underrated. That's what I like to hear. Mikey pulls. That's right. You got your championship weightlifting belt on in the morning. I hope. Paul says, I'm so happy about Minchie. I want to be optimistic about Notre Dame. Mike, what's up, Mike? I think you're in the call bank. I'll get to you. My only concern with Minchie's recruiting ranking similar to Pine, but worse. As long as Reese, the anti-developers here, I have concerns. All I'm telling you is they look different. They're built different. That's just my eyes. They're built different. Whatever. Maybe the rating system's matured since Pine was a quarterback. They look different, damn it. They look different. Oh, we better kill BC. Hey, we better kill Marshall. We better kill Stanford. Teams that we're a big favorite over, right? Oh, gosh. Willie Hardigan, another day, another show I can't attend, but have a good day, everybody, except can't. Willie, you say you can't attend, but you're in here dropping a comment, and I really appreciate you taking the moment to do that. It means the world to me. Everybody who's here every day means the world to me. There is no show without you. None. Thomas Perry, we're getting to phone calls next. We're at the end of roll call. Jaded Clay, good to see you, Jaded. Irish trending. Minchie has so much more talent than Pine. I'm just telling you, they look different. They're built different. My eyes tell me they're built different. My eyes tell me one of them's more athletic than the other one. My eyes tell me one has an arm that's better than the other one. I'm sorry. I just see that they're built different, folks. Thomas Perry, John, can you sneak in the locker room during the first half and hide the keg? If the Irish can put 4 quarters together, we should be all right. The stadium should be bumping Saturday. I don't know about that. Cold weather, it's hard to get it bumping. I'm telling you, it's just, I've been to too many of these when we're out of playoff consideration or out of major bowl consideration. I've been to too many of these senior days where it's cold, it's emotional, it's an opponent that doesn't excite anybody. We're not playing for anything, and it gets tedious. So I want to avoid that. I really do. Run the ball down their throat. Yeah, you're darn right. That's my plan. They're actually fairly stout against the pass, bad against the run. There you go. Run the ball. Run the ball. And then flipping it, BC runs the ball. They ran it for -1 yards last week total. You want to laugh at it, and then you look at our totals from the app, and it's like 2 yards. They were -1 yard rushing for the entire game. All right, we're going to get to phone calls. We do have a big bank. All right. When I have a big bank of calls, everybody has to get less time so I could get them in. I also have family obligations, got to take care of my kid. It is what it is. I'm going to have to cut this a little early. So we're going to go through as quick as we can. I want to give everybody the time. Dr. John's first. Then we got 361-737-336-818-224. We're getting you guys. Dr. John, you're first so you can get to your tea time. Welcome to the show. Happy Wednesday, Dr. John.
Hey, good morning, John.
Good morning. How are you?
Good to hear you.
It's good to hear you too.
You got your stocking cap on?
I don't today, but I had it on the other day as just a little. It got a little sweaty in there. I got to tell you, with the lighting in here, it did get a little warm, but I was cold coming into it.
Anyway, hey, before I get to the topics at hand, I promised a diagnosis of the second half against Navy.
Yeah, what do you got?
I think I know what the problem was, and I'm putting the onus on the defense. I think here's what happened. You know, they go in to the locker room for 20 minutes plus. You come out, Navy holds the ball for 10 minutes on the clock, which was probably 20, 25 minutes. Well, what happens? Physically, your body starts producing lactic acid. Mentally, you're down, and emotionally, you're down. Now, when your offense goes in there, they don't have it anymore. And I think if the defense would have got a 3-and-out or a couple of series and a punt, I think that second half would have been totally different. But the nice thing about my analysis is nobody can prove me wrong.
Those are the best kinds of analysis. Yeah, nobody could prove you factually wrong. Listen, there's something to be said for that. We went in for halftime, and then they got the ball and then took up all that time. I mean, it had to be 40, 45 minutes probably of actual time since the offense was out there. John, let me ask you this. You've seen the Navy-Notre Dame rivalry a long time. Is that one where you just write it off as a win, chalk it up to a unique, weirdly played game, forget about it, trash it, and move on? Or do you really sit there and worry about that second half?
Yeah, that's the way I feel. I said that on Monday in a chat. I said, I'm moving on. I guess one of the things that somebody had said, well, you'd never blow Navy out. Well, within the past 10 years, I mean, it's 34-6 a blowout. It's 52-20. It's 50-10.
Yeah.
We do blow them out from time to time. But when you let them go 10 minutes on the clock, you got trouble.
Yeah.
I don't think that's not going to happen Saturday. I do not think. I felt that positive vibe before Syracuse, and I feel that way now. I mean, you mentioned the fact that people can run the ball on this team, and they can't run the ball at all. I think they're like 2.1 is their yardage to run. So I think you're going to see the first half Navy from our offense on Saturday. That's the way I'm feeling. And I'll tell you what, next to Michigan and USC, I'd love to beat these guys.
Yeah. And you know what, John? I wrote about this and I talked about it earlier this week. It might even be in the episode coming out later tonight. I forget. And I said, this is one of those rivalries. I feel like maybe the older you are, the more personal you take it because you've had more scar tissue. People that were old enough to feel 93 BC have a real effect from that. You know, people my age were 9 or 10 years old, vaguely remember it. So with BC, I feel like some of that hatred, if you're a little older, you feel some of the BC scars a little more than maybe people in their 20s do. And I see that division among the fan base. And so any concerns, John, about senior day? It's emotional. It's cold. It's kind of a unique setup. I always have a little uncomfortable feeling how we're going to fire it back up after hugging your mom. Any thought of that, or am I over worrying?
Thought about what, John?
About senior day, the emotions of that, and then turning it on and having to play. Am I over worrying about that?
Oh, I think you are. I think what you're going to find out, I think those guys who are playing their last game in Notre Dame Stadium, they're going to play with emotion, and I think they'll have a good day. I tell you what, I think the three guys that I'm looking to have a good day are Foskey, Cam Hart, and Morrison. They're going to be throwing the ball around. BC is, and I think those guys are going to be the key to how this game goes.
Yeah, it's very interesting with the quarterback we're going to face. You know, it's not Phil, so you're not going to get that storyline. And this young guy, he comes in and they can't run the ball. So they were throwing the ball all over, 330 yards against ranked NC State last week. He did have a couple interceptions. I think you're right on it, John. They're not going to be able to run the ball. They're going to have to try a little, crank up that heat, and then those secondary guys are in position to pick this guy off. Foskey can hit him. You mess up their timing. That's my path.
Yeah, I think so. I think we're going to get pressure on him, and I think those guys in the back are going to do their job. So.
Yep. And
anyway, yeah.
Yep. Go ahead.
Going to the quarterback situation, and I started thinking about, first of all, this kid hasn't committed yet, has he?
Nope. And I'm knocking on wood. I'm knocking on wood. I'm knocking on wood. And I said, when I did my little show the other day with this situation, the first thing I said is, I want to make a note here. He is not committed to Notre Dame. So I'm knocking on wood, throwing that out there just to protect my own mental state.
Yeah, I don't know. I was reading some of the chat, and I thought, did I miss something? Because
I know
some of the people in chat were talking like he's already on board.
Hey, maybe they want it this week because he's going to be at the game, decommitted from Pitt, early signing day a few weeks away. We might be in for a pleasant surprise this weekend at home.
Yeah, it'd be nice. And I think you're right about CJ Carr, too. If he's got any kind of competitive blood in his veins, he's not gonna go someplace else. I mean, come in and prove yourself.
Yep.
And you know what would really be fun, if we got somebody through the portal also, so suddenly we got 4 in that room. I think that would be a really great thing to watch next year. So
yeah, and that's John.
Competition always helps.
Yeah, John. I think that's going to be the big question left with the quarterback dynamic for 23 is, with all these guys, do you also need a transfer? And follow me here, John. Here's why. Think about it. In the best case scenario, what do you have next year in the best case? A freshman coming in off the street, Minchie. Pine, who's a known commodity, but you question if that's good enough. And then Buckner healing, but you don't know how good he is. And Angeli, who you don't know how good he is. In our best dynamic next year as we sit, you're entering the season with the quarterback again. You don't know how good he is unless it's Pine. And then I know it's not good enough, in my opinion. So that's why people are going to say you still need one of them guys. Because in the best case dynamic as we sit, we still don't know what we're going to have.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, would this Minsky be an early
I believe so.
arrival?
I believe so. He was looking at doing that at Pitt, and I don't know why it wouldn't stand at Notre Dame. Because I know he was talking about enrolling early at Pitt. So then that helps you get a jump start on college and blending in and getting settled in and all that. It's a good save for 23 if this goes through. It isn't Dante, but it's a damn good job, especially with Carr stacked up on top.
Yeah. Okay. One more thing. What's the spread right now? I haven't checked it.
I thought it was 20. I saw 20 last night.
Okay. Well, I'll check it out at 10:30 your time on Friday, and that'll be our magic number.
Beautiful. Check it out and let me know, my friend. Are you playing golf today? You gonna hang up and go on the links or what?
No, I'm going tomorrow.
Hit them straight and hit them few. No three putts.
I'm playing about noon tomorrow.
No three putts. Don't break any clubs over your knee. No helicopter throws. None of that stuff that I do. Okay.
Hey, I always go out there thinking I'm going to shoot my age, you know. And last week I started birdie par. I thought I was on my way, but the wheels came off on 9. So
that'll happen.
It's a hard game, John. You know that.
It is a hard game. And you know what's the most frustrating thing about golf, John, is unlike bowling, if you get a 300 in bowling, it's as good as you could do. No one could do physically better than that. My frustration with golf is even my best rounds, I'm sitting there on the drive home going, man, there's 4 or 5 shots I still want back. Like, that's what keeps you coming back for golf. There's always more. There's always more.
Absolutely. There's always that one great shot or that long putt that keeps bringing you back.
Yep. Well, John, enjoy your day. Give me a call later in the week and hit them straight, okay? Good to hear from you.
Okay. Go Irish.
Go Irish. See ya. The good doctor.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I love that guy so much. All right. Let's keep it moving here. We got a phone bank, and I want to get through them. 361. Let's have a little fun. Good morning.
What's up, John?
What's going on, man? So I want to ask you, I know you're all up into this too. What are your thoughts about, one, Boston College Senior Day and the quarterback dynamic that's developing? Where are you at on all this in your mind?
Okay, so I want to talk a little more about the quarterback. So let's do the BC thing real quick. The Senior Day does give me pause like it does with you. However, I didn't realize, and maybe you didn't either. Last year, we won our Senior Day 55-0. So maybe we don't have that Senior Day deal. It is Boston College.
Well, and the other thing is, too, though, here's the other thing is, in that mix of me being nervous is the fact of how unstable we've played at home. That's a part of it too, is from excellent to terrible is the range at home. So I just don't know what we're going to get, man.
No, absolutely right. Like I heard Notre Dame is the most inconsistent team, and using the Clemson game, you think like, okay, they figured it out. No, that just solidifies the idea that they're the most inconsistent team. Like,
yeah,
they can be that, or they can be 0 points and 2 yards worth maybe.
You know what I said in my post-game show? I think I said something like, I'm glad to see that Notre Dame's fully inconsistent, meaning we had Marshall and Stanford, but at least you had Clemson on the high side. Like, at least on inconsistent, we hit the high and the low this year.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. But looking at Boston College, their defense is awful, and I'd like to think that means something. But as we saw against Stanford, maybe it doesn't. UNLV, I don't know. But where they're good at is stopping the pass. Where they're bad at is stopping the run. So
it lines up good for us. It lines up good for us, right? Strength and weakness wise. They're opposites. That's exactly how I see it too.
Yeah. And their offense is bad. I don't know how good. Was it Moorhead, right?
Yeah.
Their new quarterback. What's funny is we may not even see Jurkovec for 2 reasons. One, his health. Is he able to play? Secondarily, I've seen stuff that are questioning if he should be benched or not.
Yep, I saw that too.
We may not see Jurkovec at all, which is kind of even more hilarious because he still has yet to play a game in Notre Dame Stadium should he not play on Saturday.
Yeah, that is wild. And here's the danger. Let me ask you about this danger. And I feel like this happened to Kelly a lot in the middle of the Kelly era. And it's something that's on my mind as well. How many times early, 737-336-818-224, you're coming up next. Hang with me. How many times early in the Kelly era did some backup quarterback only playing because of an injury, or a freshman or a sophomore in his first start, and they look good against Notre Dame. Like, there's some of that free thinking when you're a youngster and you just winging the ball around and you're not overthinking it. Like, this can't turn into that where we let this young guy come in, light us up. Like, no, you got to confuse this guy, hit this guy, pressure this guy, disguise what you're doing, make him give you the ball.
Yeah, every time. My dad, who just turned 70 last month, we'll talk, and while we're watching the game with him, and more often than not, at some point in the game, he goes, "Oh, here we go. This guy's going to set a record against us because I've never heard of him."
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what it is, man. I don't know what it is. But you are right about what is it? I have the stat right here. What did they do? Last 3 games, BC's held them to under 200 yards passing the last few games. And then I look at that number and I'm like, under 200, that's not that impressive. But then I realize what normal teams throw for, not named us. And then I realize that's a reasonable mark to be under. But our numbers are so low, it doesn't seem like it. I don't know. But they're bottom 25 in almost every offensive category, man. Bottom 25 rush unit, 12th worst in point per game. They're allowing over 4.5 yards a carry the last few weeks. 4.5 yards a carry they're allowing. What's Estimate going to do?
Exactly. I don't know if we cover the 20 points. I'm confident we win. I don't know what it'll look like. But talking about Dracovic and throwing for 200 yards, I know you got some callers, so I want to jump into this quarterback thing real quick with you.
Sure.
So I know you've seen what I've said. I've seen what you said. There are literal people. I've gotten some direct messages like, we're talking about Minchie, but what about Carr? And I'm like,
no.
Find me Georgia. Find me Ohio State. Find me Alabama. Find me Clemson going, what are we going to do? You realize if DJU doesn't leave Clemson, they're about to have 3 5-stars on their roster next year.
Yep.
Do you think they have any problem with that? Any concern? Any panic? No. We, as a group, like you said, collective group, it's like we have no idea how to handle this situation.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is a good thing. Calm down.
Yeah, no, I couldn't believe it, man. I couldn't believe seeing that come up on Twitter right away. It didn't even cross my mind. The first thing I thought of is how awesome it's going to be to stack these guys back to back and then have a real competition with some higher level guys and athletic D1 quarterback bodies and arms for once. This shows you how far away we are from having a decent quarterback room from Earth.
Yeah, because my first reaction was great. Now we got Carr coming in. But in between, let's go get a transfer because everything you were finishing up with Dr. John, I'll keep saying this until it's not valid anymore. If Drew Pine is a legitimate competition for Tyler Buckner next year, we have serious problems at the quarterback position. He should not be even on the radar as competition. And the fact that he is the only known commodity, as you mentioned, going into next year, gives us great concern.
Yes.
So you got Buckner's coming off injury. How good is he or isn't he? Who knows? You got potentially Minchie coming in. How good is he? Yes, the ratings, and I'm with you. When you look at film, it looks different, but don't know what he is. Angeli, we don't know what he is, and he's not even getting an opportunity over Pine. So what does that say about Angeli?
Right.
There's going to be multiple quarterbacks because the situation we're hoping to be in is likely going to lead to a transfer. It is what it is. It's part of the deal. There's going to be a quarterback, whoever it is, at some big-time program looking to get another starting place.
Yep.
We need to attack because it will be a known commodity. He has played high-level D1 football, and that already gives him a leg up on the competition. Think if we have Jack Cohn back there this year. I think about that.
With that line.
Hypotheticals aren't.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I got to tell you, man, you're spot on. Like, that is almost word for word exactly how I see this quarterback dynamic. And it's like I've been asked, John, isn't that quarterback room going to get a little crowded? Yes, it is. Welcome to big boy football. And you have a higher level competition, and the guys that aren't going to make it, go play somewhere else. But this is about competition. This is about who gets going furthest. And so, yeah, it could be a crowded room. And then somebody might leave. Guess what? That's the real world of college football. Stack these guys and bring in a guy next year for some stability too.
Yeah, because I need to know that whoever won the competition legitimately won it and not won it because have you seen the competition?
Right. Like, but this is, man, I'm telling you, this is turning into a healthier dynamic. If you could bring in a transfer guy, you have Buckner getting healthy, and then you have these two guys, 23, 24. That puts you in a position to be able to line this up, hitch your wagon to the main horse, whoever emerges, and you're off to the races with the receiver talent a few years further developed. Like, that's the path, and I like it. So we're trending up there. I feel good about it.
It's so obvious. Like I'll challenge anybody through 9 games or 10 games of our season. You cannot tell me every position has shown improvement and growth other than the quarterback. Everywhere else on the field has shown their ability to improve and play better and give everywhere except the quarterback. It's insane.
Yeah. Yep. Nope. I'm right with you, man. I see the same things you do here, but more competition in that room with more bodies that are D1 bodies and arms is what this program needs more than anything else. And it looks like they're putting it together. And if you bring in a transfer guy, that makes it even more interesting. So I do feel a little better about 23 quarterback now. It was a big hole.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. That little gap that we had was going to be an issue, and it looks like it might have been filled. And we can add an extra layer if we get a solid transfer in for sure. So, but hey, thank you for getting me in, and go Irish, beat backup college. I won't be available Friday because I do live in South Texas. I am playing golf at 10 o'clock on Friday morning.
Good for you. Good for you. Yeah, exactly. Good for you, man. I always get jealous when I'm in Illinois and I see you tweet a picture of your golf clubs and it's like 20 degrees here. Oh, man. But hey, listen, really good thoughts. 5'0", 100 Check out the podcast. I see it the same way you do, man. I do.
Yep. Thanks, John. Enjoy the game Saturday.
Yep, you too, man. Hey, hook up with Dr. John out west there. You guys can play a skins game for some golf beer money there. Have a good one, man. Be safe out there. Take it easy.
Take care.
See ya. Good. That's a good call. I see it the way he does. I don't know what else to say. Who was it? Somebody. We got one of the trolls here. Who is it? Oh, it's Brad. He said, what did Brad say? I think he said that Freeman is basically Clay Helton. He put that in the chat, which just makes me chuckle. That's really funny. That's really funny. And then Brad's also talking about Kelly and all that stuff at LSU. I don't, let's see. What do we got, Brad? We're getting back to the phone calls. LSU's about to land the #1 class. So far, Kelly's destroying. No, not at all, Brad. Try again. You're missing the point. You're missing the point 100%, and you're missing it on purpose. Kent, good to see you, Kent. Whatever Brian Kelly does at LSU, good for him. He didn't do it at Notre Dame because he was not willing to put in the work, and he was not willing to change the way he recruits or demand that the way his staff recruits change to match the times. And he was never going to do that at Notre Dame. Whatever he accomplishes at LSU, good for him. He was not going to do it at Notre Dame. He had over a decade to prove me wrong. Didn't do it, and then he quiet quitted and stopped recruiting hard the last few years, looking for a way to get out of Notre Dame. Good riddance. I don't care what he wins at LSU. He was never going to do it here. Period. So go ahead and do whatever you want to do at LSU. Doesn't help me because the guy wouldn't build relationships with recruits at Notre Dame the last few years. Absolutely brutal. Like, I don't think people get that. Like, are you serious? Look behind the scenes. Talk to people that know. Kelly just quit building relationships with recruits. He just quit trying. Wouldn't get on that plane. Wouldn't call these guys. Hilarious. So a change of scenery is good for Kelly. Good for him. And I'm happy where we're at and where we're trending. Under no circumstances am I going to say I wish Kelly was back, even if he wins a title next year. No, because it was never going to happen here with him. Period. 737. What's going on this morning?
John, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Just trying to get ready for senior day and kind of think about our quarterback possibilities here. What do you think?
Man, there's a lot. I was talking to you guys on Monday. And, I was like, it'll probably be my one call in for the week. And then all of a sudden, we get a bunch of news that comes out, and I was like, oh man, I'm gonna have to call back into John's call. And
yep. So what do you make of the dynamic here? You could shoot about BC or this quarterback dynamic or both. What do you think?
I'll start because I think it's the quickest piece. Senior day. You know, I know that Marcus Freeman has made some changes to his senior day in terms of the way that it works, and I think that is. I think it's going to be better in making senior day more special for those like, hey, if you're a senior and you are certainly not coming back next year, then we will celebrate you for senior day. But if you are a junior, i.e. Michael Mayer, and you're going out for the draft, but you're not a senior, you're not going to get senior day. It's not graduation day, right? It's senior day. And so there are certain individuals, and this is just through reading. I can't verify it all because obviously I'm not there, but apparently there's a few individuals on the team that have celebrated or that will be celebrating this Saturday their third senior day. I mean, if you want to take the shine off of senior day, then let's keep it the way that it was. So I think the senior day will be much more impactful with the changes that were made. And again, through reading, it seems like Notre Dame was one of the few that, and I don't know again if this is accurate to a T, but Notre Dame was one of the few that were running their senior day like, hey, if you're a senior and this is your last game, no matter what, like we'll celebrate you. So 3 years later, we're still doing that for some individuals. So I think the change is good. I think that'll be hopefully keep the emotions up, not make it so bland, and we'll see that kind of be a better spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense. It's just always something on my mind. You know, it's going to be cold. I just worry about the slow starts added with what's happening at home this year. There's even more instability. I do think these are good matchups for Notre Dame, though. What Notre Dame's good at, Boston College seems to be bad at. And what Boston College is good at, I mean, I guess they're good at pass defense. I don't expect that's primarily how we're going to try and win the game. So I think it's a pretty good matchup for Notre Dame. What do you think about this quarterback recruiting situation? You happy with the news? Still believe it when you see it? Do you want to transfer in here next year? What do you want to do here?
Yeah, let me touch on the BC first because
Sure.
I know you got a lot of callers. So I want to make sure I'm answering your line items, but I think BC, you're right. The D line and the O line are where they struggle. So our front four in terms of defense and of course our offensive line should be able to manage the game. But like I said, everybody said, we don't know who we're going to get. We don't know how pumped up they're going to be. We don't know how consistent they're going to be. You know, the theme for this year is inconsistency at best.
Yep.
The you know, we see great, we see bad. So, but when you look at it, I was looking at something the other day, probably yesterday, where it showed the Boston College defense lined up to our offense and our offense lined up to their defense, and where those players were ranked in terms of their star ratings coming out of high school. And they're all very similar. Like when you look at the matchups, you know, 3 and 4 stars, we're mostly 3 and 4 stars. Our 1 5-star is Mayer. And it really goes to show you, hey, you know, the 5-star really is a pretty big deal because you think about the product that Mayer is on the field.
Yeah.
I think they're well matched, but ultimately I think that we should be able to pull out that game if we come out the way that we need to. So I think BC is, and it's a fairly traditional game. We'll see. I think we take it and then we move on to USC. In terms of Minchie, I don't know. I heard about it, and then I started looking into it, started reading about it, and my concern ultimately is that there's a lot of happiness for a 4-star quarterback that is going to flip, and I can certainly understand that. My concern is the development aspect. So not to put a negative spin on it, but just when I look at what has Tommy Rees done to develop quarterbacks, have we had other 4-star quarterbacks in the last few years? Yes, we have. Have they been successful? No, they haven't. I know there's differences between the two.
Yeah.
But we have to develop.
Yep.
And we'll see how that goes. You know what I mean?
But you're definitely
I like
right.
That he's
like when this all popped up 2 days ago and I did my little show about it, updating this situation, the number one thing I said was really good job staying in the mix and doing this and getting to this point. And then development and retention are the two. It's a 3-pronged thing and you need all 3 of them. You need the recruitment part. Now you need the development part. And by retention, I mean, you're going to have to cut a guy loose or let him transfer. You're going to have to let that all figure out. And the pecking order in that room when you have this uptick in talent and make tough decisions. So good job on the recruiting end. I need the development end to match now. It's very important.
And the thing that makes me happy, and again, listen, just because it's on the internet doesn't mean it's true. I'm aware of that, but there's certain things that were coming out that I think make me feel better about the Minchie kid. Everybody's saying he's between 6'1" and 6'3". Consensus seems to be more in the 6'2" to 6'3" range. Watching some tape on him yesterday, he's got a great release. He seems to be fairly dual threat, but more pocket oriented. He looks pretty good and has some of the things that we need. And if you think about it, he probably grows a little bit more as he's into college and moving up through his teens and getting into his 20s. The concern for me is trying to be on both sides of it. Are we getting another Buckner? You got a kid who was hurt his shoulder, was out for a little bit.
Yep.
I think he missed 5 or 6 games, but then he came back for a playoff game, did well, but didn't finish that playoff game because he hurt his shoulder. Don't know if it was the same shoulder. Don't know if it's a different injury. But are we bringing in another Buckner? I don't know. They say it's a non-issue injury in terms of the shoulder. So, there's a good, but I'll tell you what, this is the piece that, and again, I don't know if it's true. Like I said, if it's on the internet, doesn't mean it's true. I always kind of preface that, but my understanding is that he called Notre Dame to say, hey, are you guys still interested? From what I understand, his family are huge Notre Dame fans.
I have not seen that.
Explained,
I have not seen that. I liked it. I liked it a lot better when I convinced myself Tommy was doing some behind the scenes wheeling and dealing. That honestly made me feel more excited than hearing this guy came back to us.
Yeah. Again, rumor mill. Who knows? Were we keeping in touch with him? The story is that we were pursuing Dante Moore. We know how that went. After Dante, we pursued Minchie. Minchie said, no, I'm sticking with Pitt and my commitment. Can certainly respect that. They went over to, I can't remember the name of the other kid that they went to, but then that kid was like, hey, no, I'm sticking with Baylor. So then we start kind of looking around and doing some other things. But from what I understand, Minchie's family are huge Notre Dame fans. The high school he comes from also produced Golden Tate.
Yeah, I did see that. I like that lineage.
There's a great lineage there, right? So the parents are Notre Dame fans, and the way that I heard it was, and I look at it and read a lot of stuff because I have obviously a Notre Dame problem, but he'd be sitting, his family's watching Notre Dame every weekend, and then apparently after the Clemson game is when he called and said, hey, is there still interest? Like I said, don't know how true that is. They got the wheels going. They obviously offered him at one point in time. There's a ton of interest. And so, who knows? But the fact that he reached out to Notre Dame, if true, I think, the fact is that we're going to land him. Somebody was also talking about, they were breaking down his decommitment to Pitt. And typically when somebody decommits from a program, they'll say my recruiting is now open.
Yep, and that was noticeably missing.
Is,
yep, it was missing from his statement that that is usually the last line, or it's. Listen, man, I just see a big body and a higher end potential than what is in the room now, and that is progress. The developmental part we'll get to. What happens when Carr comes in? You have a crowd. We'll get to it. But for now, this is progress in the right direction, and I'm happy about it. And nobody's going to bring me down from that. It's rare. All right?
No, I said it a few weeks ago. You know what I mean? Like this is huge. And again, if we could get this, I think you talked about it before, the competition. Everybody's wondering what happens with Carr. Carr's been, from what I can see, a great steward of Notre Dame and trying to bring in additional recruits and really just doing a wonderful job. I don't think it makes a difference whether or not Minchie's here or not, and that's the way it should be. Competition. I don't know anybody that thinks competition makes you worse.
Man, I'm telling you,
it certainly makes you
better.
But
you got to realize 5-star quarterbacks have egos. You don't get to be a 5-star quarterback without having an alpha ego. That's what a 5-star quarterback is in their DNA, is the man, the alpha. Guys like that are not built to shy away from competition. And it would be different if they were in the same class, because then you're going head to head. You're coming in at the same time. That's different. This, no way. A guy like CJ Carr is not going to shy away from competition at all. Not even in my mind. Not even concerned about it for 1 second. None.
No. I mean, look at high school. I mean, you got multiple quarterbacks coming in, and that's just the way to. If they don't like the competition, I think you said it before. We don't want them. We don't need them.
No.
It's not going to be a good thing. So, but he's apparently an early enrollee. Like, the consensus is that this is going to happen, because again, if you look at Notre Dame, and we said this a few weeks ago as well, if you're a transfer quarterback, or if you are a quarterback that has committed or has not committed yet, and you're watching the potential that Notre Dame has, certainly against Clemson, then this is an easy decision. Like, you can come here and you can make a great impact in a fairly short period of time. And if you're looking at Minchie, and Minchie's watching what Pine's doing during that Clemson game, that's a sure thing, especially if your family are huge fans. And so I think Carr still comes. I think that's not going to change. I think we end up getting Minchie, but I still think we need transfer portal as well, because he's still a freshman.
Yep.
And
you
much
still,
as I'm happy about the
right.
switch.
That's what I'm saying too. In the best case scenario, as we sit today, we enter next year not knowing what we're going to get out of the quarterback position. And that is just brutal. And Notre Dame can't keep entering years not knowing that. Like Angeli, no idea. Buckner, no idea. Pine, I have an idea and it's not good enough. Freshman, I have no idea. Like, we end up in another year where we're entering fall camp and we're going, I don't know what we're going to get out of the quarterback. Let's just hope it's good this year. Brutal. That is not normal life. It is to us, but it's not normal around the country that every single fall you have no idea what you're going to get out of the quarterback. It's not normal, and Notre Dame needs to stabilize that. Hopefully in a couple years, we're not in that position.
Yeah, hey, let's have 4 or 5, 6 guys in there competing for the starting role, because again, it's just going to make everybody better. It gives us the option to see a little bit more. Like, we don't know. Right?
Yeah.
We haven't seen really Buckner. Again, I just don't think he stays healthy. But yeah, I'm thinking we get a transfer portal quarterback. Yeah, they come in. We get the great freshman. We still have Angeli. Again, I think that the part you have to look at is the development. Does Reese do we need to hire a quarterbacks coach, and Reese can just concentrate on OC?
Cross my mind, or at a minimum, a senior analyst to help kind of keep things on track. I agree with you, but I do think this is definitely a positive development. And we should be excited. The more high-level competition that quarterback room, the better. All right. So the sooner we get that cranked up, the better. And as I let you go, any score prediction for BC? I want to see what you think here. What do you got? We're not. Do you have?
I think we're going to win.
All right, let me give you this. I'll give you an out. Do you have us covering the 20? I'll make it easy. I think it's a 20-point deal. Do you have us covering the 20 or no?
No, I don't. Just only, and I'll say only because I'm very reticent to give predictions because Notre Dame has been so sporadic. But you look at the games we're supposed to lose, we don't cover those spreads because we win. And the games we're supposed to win, we don't cover those spreads because some of them are losing and others of them are just too close. So
right.
If you look at the history for Notre Dame and the spread that we have this year, the spreads that we've had this year for the games we're supposed to win, we haven't covered any of them.
Yeah.
Not one of them.
Yep.
So
yep.
Do we cover this time? Probably not. I'd like it to, but we'll see how it goes. So my answer will be no, we don't cover the spread.
Yeah, I would guess
Go ahead, John.
10 or 13-point win. It's frustrating and ugly, but we get it done. Like, whatever. So really good thoughts, my friend. Thanks for the call, as always. I appreciate it. Thank you. Very good thoughts. Very
John,
well.
we appreciate you, man. Have a great day.
Thanks a lot. But you're always so put together. Everything's like crystallized with you. I really appreciate the call. Thanks a lot, man. That's a good caller. Call again. All right. We're going to get back to the phones, but Brad, the resident troll here, I just can't. I think Brad knows reality and types in the chat box the opposite. I really do. Like, that's why I'm not even letting my blood pressure rise. I think Brad knows the truth and intentionally types in the opposite in this box just to try and get me worked up. So let's address a couple of these that came in while I was on the phone. Brad says, Andy made a massive mistake letting BK go. He had one hand tied behind his back when it came to recruiting, and he's proving it year one at LSU. Here we go, Brad. Year one of Freeman, he is going to have a higher rated recruiting class than anything Brian Kelly did in over a decade. Also, and additionally, what it takes to recruit LSU successfully is much different than what it takes to recruit Notre Dame successfully. I'm not saying better or worse, or one's right and one way's wrong. The way you recruit for success at LSU fits Brian Kelly's recruiting personality much, much better. More local in-state talent. Not as many concerns with the academics and all of the feel stuff that Brian Kelly got sick of at Notre Dame. It's a different animal, and it is a much, much better fit for Brian Kelly recruiting at LSU. Credit him for having the self-awareness to know that and think that. I think that's true. It's going to be easier for him to recruit successfully at LSU than for him to do it at Notre Dame. Okay? So, but the saying he had one hand tied behind his back when it came to recruiting and he's proving it at LSU, it's the opposite. Marcus Freeman's dealing with the same academics and everything, and he's going to have a better class year one than any of Kelly's classes. It's just night and day difference. Freeman's already building relationships with quarterbacks in the 25 and 26 classes. Kelly never had any interest in doing that in Notre Dame. And then when he jumped in on the guys, it was too late to build a relationship and compete. So the recruiting angle makes no sense at all. It's just factually proven wrong. Freeman's going to have a better class under the same guidelines than Kelly did. So that argument's out right away. What else did Brad say? Here we go. Brian Kelly brought ND to its peak. It's all downhill from here. He has us at 7-5, all downhill from here. Brian Kelly had Notre Dame at its peak. I agree with that. Under Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly brought Notre Dame to its peak under Brian Kelly. That is very, very important to mention. And evident, like I had evidence on the recruiting end, here's my evidence on this end. Marcus Freeman has a more impressive win year one than any win Brian Kelly had in over a decade in Notre Dame. So, again, I'm just proving you wrong with the facts. That Clemson win was a more impressive win than any win Kelly had when you consider opponent's rank, opponent's record, and pedigree. Brian Kelly never had any win that could touch this win at Notre Dame. So you threw two things at me, and I'm factually proving them wrong right away, and it's not even hard to do. It's not even hard to do. The recruiting thing, it isn't going to matter. It isn't going to matter what Kelly does at LSU in recruiting and then try and compare that to Notre Dame. There's no parallels. I mean, you can't really compare the two. You can't. I'm proving everything wrong. It's math. Marcus Freeman is going to have a higher rated recruiting class year one than any Brian Kelly had at Notre Dame in over a decade. That's a fact. Brad, that's a fact. The record does speak for itself. And both the things I said are true. Oh, man, I'm losing my mind. This guy. 914, give me some more. What is that? New York? Is this New York?
Yes, it is.
Thanks for the call. I recognize
Good morning, John.
I recognize the number there. Thanks for the call, man. What's on your mind?
Not too much, John. This is long time, first time.
I really appreciate that, man. Thanks for joining us. You interested in Boston College for senior day? You want to talk some quarterback recruiting? What's on your mind?
We can do both. Boston College, well, my wife and I are going to the game, so we're going to be there.
Bundle up. Bundle up. I think it might be a little chilly, but you're a New York guy. That isn't going to bother you being a New York guy, but I expect it to be chilly for senior day.
Yeah. We're heading out tomorrow, and we're coming back on Monday.
That'll be beautiful. So what do you do? Fly into Chicago, spend a night there, drive over on Saturday, or what are you going to do?
We're going to drive all the way.
Nice. Direct shot. Get a little road trip in. Beautiful, man. So are you expecting to see big things on senior day, or just kind of want to be there and get your Notre Dame fix? What are you looking to see?
Well, it's our Notre Dame fix for the year. You know, a friend of mine is an alumni, so we purchase tickets from him every year. So, and just our schedule just worked out that we only could make this game this year. So,
nice. Well, it's better than not making it at all. And you know what, man? Notre Dame's trending up. You get this win.
They are.
You get this win. And it sets you up for that big showdown in LA next week and a chance to get your 10 wins again for 6 straight years still on the table.
Absolutely. You know, last few years we've won every time they won. They have won the game. So hopefully my streak stays intact.
Yep, that would be good. And then what do you think of this recruiting dynamic here? What do you think of Notre first time, long time? It means I haven't talked to you on the phones before. What do you think of Notre Dame's quarterback dynamic? Where do you want that quarterback room to look like in a year or two? What do you think the path should be there?
It should be, it'd be great if we get Minky, but I still want to transfer. But a transfer who can come in and compete for the starting job. I just don't want a guy to come in here and take up space in the room. If he's good enough to play next year, so be it.
Yeah. And I like Minchie in 23, Carr in 24. That's a talented quarterback room. That is a high D1 level quarterback competition room. And then you're cooking with fire. Like that's what I'm looking forward to, seeing those competitions. I agree with you. I'm thinking they need to explore the transfer portal too, because in our best dynamic, we enter next year not knowing what we have at quarterback. Like that's Buckner coming off injury. Pine, I already know it's not good enough for what we need. Angeli, no idea. Freshman, no idea. The only guy you might have an idea is Pine, and then whatever body of work you have if you bring a guy in. I don't know.
And Pine's not good enough. You know, he's not going to bring us to the next level. So,
I agree.
That'll be another year without a champion.
And it's not his fault. It's not Pine's fault. Like
no, it's not.
His skill set's his skill set.
He does the best he can.
He ain't getting any bigger and stronger. Like it's just he is what he is, man.
No. I just got a little frustrated the second half. Is that there was some plays that he just had to dump it off on these blitzes. They were right there, and he just didn't look at it, and that's on him.
Yep. Yeah.
You know, but for me, just watching it, I'm sure they know that. Well, that's the frustration of him. But the thing is, too, he's doing the best he can. So, and he's the guy.
Yeah.
This year.
Yep. And he is, he's scrappy. I mean, the guy's trying his best. There's just certain physical limitations he's going to have. And aside from the physical limitations, sometimes I think he's been around the program long enough. He should be able to feel some things out that he's not when it comes to where pressure's coming from, making his reads a little quicker and more efficient. Some of that's development stuff that I would hope he's a little further along on than he is. So I don't know, but I'm excited because recruiting seems to be ticking back on the upswing. And this path to 10 wins here is still intact, but you got to beat Boston College. You got to have it.
You got to. So, and you know what I like? I always keep telling friends of mine who are constantly on the ledge, I said, think about it. This is going to be the worst recruiting class. It's only going to get better from here.
Yep. And I said that when the Clemson victory happened, one of my big bullet points was what I love most about this victory is Marcus Freeman got this good of a performance out of what will be his least talented team the whole time he's at Notre Dame. That is the best part of that whole dynamic. That talent's just going to get better. So that's what I love.
Yeah, and what I like about it, too, is that he's all for Notre Dame. He's not about himself. So, and you always can already tell that there's more energy there, and he actually making to the point some of these kids who don't think they are Notre Dame guys, and he makes them believe that they are. And then maybe they flip and come with us,
Yep. And it's beautiful. So I think we're trending in the right direction there. And then we're going to see if we can wrap up this senior day win. And then what a big matchup in LA. I mean, that's going to have all sorts of all the storylines and the drama and the first year head coaches on each side and all that talent on offense they have. And it's going to be a big thing, but it's only going to be a big thing if we get this win. We got to get this win to keep that juice. So that's what I'm looking for, my friend.
I agree with you, John.
Beautiful.
Listen, thank you so much. I know you have a lot of people on the call.
No problem. You better answer that phone. Really appreciate you better answer that call. Sounds important. Take it easy, man. Call me again.
Yeah.
See you.
I will. Thank you, John.
Thank you. Thank you. He's on the bat phone. Somebody calling him saying, "What's up?" On the bat phone. Oh, man. 573, you're talking to me. What's going on? Hello, are you out there? Got me on mute. Got to drop you. Call back if you want. 336, you're in the mix. What's going on?
Hey, am I on?
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. The last guy just wasn't there, so I was like, I better make sure I'm on the ball because I'll get dropped right away if I'm not.
I got you loud and clear, man. What are your thoughts on BC and Min Chi?
Okay, so I'll start with Min Chi. So we're talking. I mean, you're trying to hedge your bets and make sure you don't, come out here and be like, we got our guys. But from the reporting I've read from 24/7 from Tom Lloyd, he's like the only team this guy was talking to was Notre Dame and Pitt. So if Pitt's the team he'd be committed from, who's left?
Yeah, I know. I just don't want to. I just know how Notre Dame quarterback stuff goes, and I just don't want to get tricked here. I got a lot of scar tissue, so it does look good, and it might even happen this weekend with him in town. That's the other thing.
I think it will. I think he'll come visit. It'll be like what I said during the recruitment that was going back a few years when he was doing his visit when he was a high school recruit for Phil Dracovic. Now I know what happened there, but he was doing a round of visits where he went, Pennsylvania kid. He went to Penn State. He did a visit to Penn State, went to Ohio State, and then went to Notre Dame in a line kind of. And when I saw that, I'm like, the last one of that group, I'm like, I was looking at, I'm like, the last one in the group is Notre Dame. And I said, the first thing that came to my mind was, he's going to commit when he gets to Notre Dame. He's doing these other visits just to appease probably people in his family. He's going to commit when he gets to Notre Dame. And, a week later he committed. I was like, well, he did what I thought. So
yep.
I kind of, that.
So do you think, let's assume Minchie does come. Do you also think we need an experienced transfer quarterback to compete for next year?
Okay, so I know Pine can't be the guy because we've seen Pine try to be the guy this year, and it's not great. Buckner, I think we all want him to be the guy still.
Yeah, but the years keep passing by and we don't see it because of things beyond all of our control. And it's very, very frustrating. Like, that's the thought. How many years can you hang on to what he could be? And then all the years pass and you don't see it. And it's not his fault. Injuries suck. It's bad luck. But at the same time, like, the team's the team. Life goes on and we need good quarterback play. So I feel bad about that. So I think you might want to transfer in here just for stability for a year. And then you go from there with your young guys. That'd be my plan.
There is part of me that's like, I have been very on the Angeli bandwagon since I saw him in high school. Like, I watched some of his games in high school in New Jersey, online, watched some of his games, and I'm like, he has terrible offensive line. His weapons aren't great, and his team is. I think he had one loss in his senior year in high school. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. I'm like, there's got to be something in that cat to win the way he did with a pretty mediocre team in New Jersey.
Yeah,
but and I think the only team he lost was St. Peter's, which is like a powerhouse in that district. So there's part of me that's like, could Angeli be a guy instead of? But they don't. If he wanted to be the guy, it felt like he would have been able to beat out Pine at some point in the year.
I mean, so that's the question. That's the question. The question is, if Angeli can't beat Pine or get any, it's all just so frustrating. I just need high-end quarterback play. This is Notre Dame. This is not UConn. This is not Central Michigan. Give me a couple elite potential quarterbacks to work with. Bottom line, I just need it, man.
Which, by the way, you mentioned UConn. Good for them to make it to a bowl game this year. Who saw that coming?
Not me. I didn't see it coming. You know why I didn't see it coming? Because I wasn't even looking for it. That's why I didn't see it coming. That's why. So wait, let me ask you this. 20-point spread. Does Notre Dame cover against BC or no?
I lean toward no. Notre Dame seems to be the team that they're playing, teams and doesn't come playing everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
when they play everyone else.
Yeah, it's frustrating. The flip of us, good and bad, and against who is very bizarre. I agree with you. Oh man.
I think it's part. I think it's part of the growing pains of having a first-year head coach. That we're sitting here going, we was more consistent, but first-year head coaches sometimes are consistent.
Yeah.
And it's certainly better than Animals in Oklahoma, which is like, let's lose everybody.
Yep. Nope. For sure, man. So I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be interesting. But all right, man. I got to get running. I got to cut out early today. Thanks for the call. Yep. Go ahead.
I am curious. The one thing I'm curious about, the one long term for the season hope is that, they obviously have to do the job when there are 2 games. Can we sneak our way into Cotton Bowl? Like, come on, do it.
Yep.
Give us a shot.
Yep. You're going to have to win your
But
games and catch your breaks. There's still a
outside-
chance.
We need like 5 things to go our way, but put it out there and see if it comes true.
Yep. That would be that'd be a really good good ending to the year for sure, man. Thanks for the call. Have a good day.
Yeah, you too.
Take it easy. Mike 3883. I don't get the Buckner criticism. Am I missing something? I guess what you're missing is you never see him playing quarterback at Notre Dame. That's what you're missing. Like, I struggle with this so much. I struggle with this issue a lot. That's the Buckner criticism. I don't see him playing football at Notre Dame on Saturdays. That's the criticism. And it doesn't mean I don't like him or he's a bad kid or he's not trying hard. It's just that if you're injured, you're not developing. And if you're not developing, then you're not playing. And that's how you end up with Drew Pine. Getting the ball batted down, being inconsistent. It's nothing personal against Buckner. It's just that there's no development going on and he's not out there. And whatever the reason, I don't like that. And it's a struggle because it's nothing personal. I love that kid and I feel frustrated on his behalf. COVID year, high school. ACL year, high school. Redshirting for Cone, and then a fight with the Stairs in the blue and gold game. And then what happened against Marshall? The guy's got bad luck. For a place full of Irish Shamrocks, he needs a 4-leaf clover in his pocket. And so I love Buckner. I wanted him to develop, but if it's not happening, I can't hold up all of the Freeman era praying that one of these years it's going to happen. And that is very, very frustrating for everybody. It really is. All right. I hate to do this, folks. I got a bunch of phone calls, but kid needs to go to the doctor. Nobody available to bring her but me. So I got to do what I got to do. Take care of the kid. We'll be back Friday. Anybody here who calls I didn't get to, call me back Friday. We'll do a full show. I feel bad. Life's calling. I'm sorry. Brad, I love you. Brad, keep it coming. It's good to keep me stimulated, Brad. Keep it coming. All right, everybody. Thanks for being here. We'll see you Friday. Stay tuned. I got an episode coming out tonight, something tomorrow too. Have a good one.